What would be your dream for tourism in Guyana?
My dream would be to create a tourism industry that allowed more and more Guyanese to experience the beauty of this country.
Mhm.
Traditionally, Guyanese have not, we're celebrating 50 years next year, but traditionally, Guyanese living in Guyana have not had the opportunity to visit a lot of our beautiful tourism sites. One of the things I've been talking with the private sector about is ensuring that at certain times of the week, I would say more or less in their slow periods, that they can really make a concerted effort to have special rates for Guyanese that live in Guyana. I also, just so that more Guyanese would have an opportunity to go to Kaieteur, I would like to see the cost of our tourism come down. People don't realize that Guyana is such a huge country. It takes an hour and a half to fly to Anai in a small plane. It takes about an hour and a half to fly to Kaieteur. It takes an hour and a half in a Caribbean Airlines flight to get, or 45 minutes to Trinidad. So I'm only using that as an example and to highlight that, our product is not one that you can drop in a car as if you were in maybe Barbados and rent a car for $30 and spin around and see everything. It takes time. It takes, to get to Lethem. If you're driving, you'll have an awesome experience, but it's going to take you anywhere from 10 hours to get there. So that's why one of the things that's very important for the success and the development of our industry is ensuring that we put the requisite infrastructure in place. I would love to see the road to Lethem completed and paved because I think that would just totally open up and send a different dimension to our tourism product. Imagine if people could get to Lethem in a matter of hours as
Oh,
opposed to 10, 12, and in the bad weather, rainy season, have challenges of bridges washing away. So those are the kinds of things I hope to see. And of course, ultimately, my dream would to have more Guyanese being employed, being comfortable, having an opportunity to enjoy a good life from the tourism industry. I would feel proud if in the at the end of 5 years I would be able to show that more people have been employed in the industry, and the industry we have no more and larger number of visitors coming, and that the industry has been able to contribute a larger percentage to our gross national product.
how
So
could
the government has to be the driver, has to spearhead. That is why I said I don't know how the suicide issue is going to be addressed overall until the Ministry of Health gives us its plan in May. We can all collaborate and do what we can until that time, but until we have a structure of how things are going to progress or where the resources are going to be given, I can't. I don't know.
You want to change it, and at the same time, you just absolutely hate where it is. And then you get like Don Quixote, and you really think you can change it, but the reality is that any change you make is going to be very, very incremental. I'm happy you mentioned late 80s, because when I came back in 88, by 1990, there was a grouping called the Patriotic Coalition for Democracy, the PCD, which was trying to get together all these people who thought that Guyana could be different, and we thought that things would change. So I remember I ended up speaking at the parade ground on a guard platform, talking about the change that could be. And here I am, was it 30 something years later, or 20 something years later, and still stuck in the same place, thinking that Guyana would be different. But I suppose, what is the state of Guyana? Guyana is one of those countries where, despite what the economic figures say, despite what the various indices of our development say, we are really at a difficult place, not only politically, we're just a difficult place socially in terms of development. And in terms of our ability to move forward, and this is my biggest concern now, is that assuming that we get a change and everybody is committed to moving Guyana forward, we don't actually have the human resources physically located in Guyana to be able to take it forward. That the management skills have all left. A lot of the talent.
Asha, what are people surprised to learn about you when they get to know you?
A lot of times I would say they wouldn't, I don't know, I would say they wouldn't assume that I'm as into technology and into building things and as I am. That's relatively surprising. Just saying that, oh, I build apps or I like to build apps alone, that phrase is like, oh my gosh, how do you build apps? That's so hard. And it's like people are almost scared when you say that, but it's really, once they understand how you do it and how it can be done, it's a lot of the times they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But they usually don't assume like I'm used to building apps or things like that. So that's mostly what surprises
And you,
them.
Caleb, what about you?
I don't know. I guess it would be that I'm really good at public speaking, that I'm really good at articulating things and telling people, and just explaining my ideas.
Uh-huh. What are you planning to pursue as a career?
Oh, Asherai.
You, Caleb.
Okay. I really want to go into research, like I said before, and I want to research more than just lupus. I want to research a lot of other diseases. And the next disease that I'm really interested in is sickle cell anemia. So.
Sickle cell?
Yes.
Any reason?
Well, I have the C trait for sickle cell, which basically means that if I do have kids with someone else who has a C trait, then our kids could have sickle cell.
Oh.
Also, it's a really devastating disease when you think.
Yes, I know. Where do you see Guyana? If all these things are put in place, all the right economic strategies are put in place, where do you see Guyana's economy in 10 years, Peter?
But if we had continued the trend, if we go back to the 3.1 GDP 2014 billion, we've got 800 million in the reserves. We've got to make sure we don't spend that out. We've got to look at continuing that growth. So the only way you cannot, and then Jaron Granger repeated some of the things we have said in the past, you cannot concentrate on the core what we have done so far, bauxite, gold, rice, sugar, all those things we're going to struggle. We've got to get past that. But you've got to then look at that growth pattern. You pick some of these projects. Imagine, I said 4,000 trucks coming through from northern Brazil to Deepwater Harbor in Berbice or Esquibo, wherever the final. Imagine all of those trucks would need fuel. It would need repairs. You would need hotels. You would need, and every village,
rest stops,
every exit off of that highway from Lethem to Georgetown or to Berbice or Esquibo would open a new village. And, we talk about village economies. Those are the things that make Guyana better. Now, if you want to get back to Guyana and you have an investment opportunity to open a gas station somewhere between Lethem and Georgetown, you would do that because you would make money. And those are the value-added effects of one of these projects getting off the ground is significant. So we got to...